It is the truthful fight across this great state of Texas to capture and uphold the true essence of professionalism, civility, and the protection of our Seventh Amendment. This passion for the rights of trial by jury stretches from El Paso up to Lubbock to Dallas, into East Texas, over to Austin, and down to the coast of Corpus Christi. This is Tex Abota, the regional Texas organization of the American Board of Trial Advocates. 16 chapters strong, making a difference in Texas and across state lines. This elite group is leaving its mark throughout the country and beyond.
It is a terrifically diverse group of people that have a common attribute of being highly competent in their fields and all dedicated to the preservation of the Seventh Amendment right to trial by jury.
It's a lawyer's lawyer, someone who's excelled both by intellect and application, by ethics and honor. Someone who's deeply respected within their community and by their profession, so that if that lawyer's standing up in court making a speech, other lawyers will listen.
1,000 members make up Tex Abota. They're from both sides of the playing field, 50% plaintiff attorneys and 50% defense attorneys. It is a balanced group.
There are lots of really good attorney groups across Texas, but what sets Tex Abota apart is the spirit of the people who belong. They're not interested in self-promotion. They've already achieved the success in their careers. They're not interested in promoting themselves. They're interested in promoting justice and promoting the Seventh Amendment and preserving it for future generations.
It is what makes these trial lawyers stand out and be noticed. Today, and since the beginning of its time, this select group represents the best of the best.
To be a member of Abota is something that everyone who is a member takes great pride in, because you can't just walk up and sign up and pay your dues and be a member. You must be invited. Civility, integrity, and professionalism are three of the things that are very important to us in the practice of law, and we expect that of our members, and we require that.
We knew that the road to having a more united group of all the chapters in Texas had great potential, but to think that we would get to the point where we are today with 16 chapters to start with, and the continued annual meetings that we have.
Tex Abota has never wavered in its mission to promote and protect the Seventh Amendment by continuing education for lawyers, teachers, students, and our legislators.
Tex Abota is an organization that gives trial lawyers a voice with which to speak on matters that involve both common and general interests.
Tex Abota's voice is being heard throughout our state capital.
Typically in our tort reform bills, it's always been one side against the other. And Tex Abota brings what I would call more of a neutral approach. There are attorneys on both sides of the docket in Tex Abota, and they are mature attorneys who basically want to see the civil justice system work properly and efficiently.
Because what we do is affected by the laws that are created, and because the courts enforce those laws, and because of the ideological attitude in the state of Texas with regard to right to trial by jury and some of the controversy surrounding that, Tex Abota now is taking a very active role in the legislature.
So we're now learning that we're very effective politically, much more so than I think we thought we would be. And the reason is legislators and people in Congress, the House or the Senate, they always hear from the plaintiff's organization of lawyers or the defense organization of lawyers. And now what has happened is we go and say, we want to talk to you about some legislation. And in one instance, the senator says, no, I've heard all the plaintiff lawyers, I've heard all the defense lawyers. And I think it was Bob Baker who said, well, wait a minute, I'm from Abota, we're both. And the senator said, oh, have a seat.
We formed Tex Abota Legislative and Education Fund, Inc., because one of our principal goals was to spread an education program throughout the schools in Texas. When the legislature was not in session, And if it were in session and was addressing issues of importance to the judicial system, we wanted to be able to speak to it.
And what a voice it has. If proposed legislation can directly affect the right to trial by jury in civil cases, Tex Abota speaks out, as in the case of House Bill 274, known as the Loser's Pay Bill. The proposed bill meant the loser in a case, whether defendant or plaintiff, would pay the fees and expenses of the winning party. The fear was that would deny access to our courts for smaller litigants. Senator Duncan called on Tex Abota as a neutral party to come up with a measure that all sides could agree. It worked. The bill passed.
Tex Abota was a key player in being able to make that happen, and so much that it seemed to me that it set a model to go forward anytime there is a civil justice reform to be considered.
Educate our teachers, our students, the members of Abota about the Seventh Amendment and the importance of civility among us all.
Tex Abota teaches and mentors our Texas teachers and students through programs such as the Teachers Law School.
We invite teachers in at our expense, and for 3 or 4 days they undergo a lot of intense curriculum education on a lot of the legal issues that they encounter day in, day out in the classroom with their students. And it's been phenomenally successful. In fact, it's been so successful that it's being sort of exported from Texas throughout the United States.
It's an opportunity for teachers in Texas to learn about what's happening in our courts from noted lawyers and judges, such as the Honorable Wallace Jefferson. And Tex Abota is involved in other programs, such as the National Youth Education Effort.
So in this program, the kids actually get to try a lawsuit. They select questions, a judge rules on them, they make a final argument, there's a verdict, and the kids love it.
And civility matters.
To teach law students about why it's important to be civil and professional in your relationship with other lawyers, why it pays dividends.
Promote justice and constant improvement of the law.
Talk to any member and you will hear passion in their voice. They didn't waltz into this organization because they were simply trial lawyers.
It's very difficult to get into Abota because you have to have tried 20 cases to verdict, and very few lawyers really have heard that the jury's knocked that many times. So it sort of separates the men from the boys. We need to form an organization that would rebuild and rekindle the faith of the American people in the justice system. And that's what we're about.
Bob Vile is synonymous with Tex Abota. The year was 1991, and armed with a handful of trusted lawyers by his side, he created Tex Abota.
I'm extremely proud of it. I had no idea when I started that it would grow to that, to its current level, but it has, and I'm most pleased.
I was one of the people that he asked to come to Dallas and meet with him. I think it was a handful of us that met at the Mansion, a rather well-known hotel in Dallas. And in one of their meeting rooms, Bob suggested that we do certain things to try to create an organization. And we agreed with everything he suggested, and we said, oh, that's a wonderful idea, Bob, do all that. And he did all that, okay?
Vile saw a need to fill the gap between national Abota and the small chapters in Texas. He wanted to have a larger entity in Texas, a bigger voice to help protect our right to trial by jury and our right to be a part of the democratic process.
The average American maybe grumbles because when he gets his jury summons, but it's still a way of the fairest and most equitable way of deciding disputes that's been ever devised, and we want to protect it.
Advance the skills of Texas members of Abota.
The fact that this group is comprised of plaintiffs' attorneys and defense attorneys is rare among lawyer groups.
Despite the fact that I have adversaries that I see in the courtroom. I call them and count them my great friends outside the courtroom simply because they conduct themselves as true professionals.
When I was named to Abota, invited to join Abota, I was so thrilled because for me as a lawyer, I knew that Abota represented the best of the best. And for me to join those ranks was a real privilege and a real honor. I knew what Abota meant to lawyers and to judges, and it certainly was an honor for me.
I'm particularly proud of being a member of Abota, and I think what sets Abota apart is a level of collegiality, a level of love, a level of getting together and having a common bond with lawyers.
It has helped me because of the people that I associate with. I mean, I think no matter what age and what level you are in practice, you are a mentor and you have mentors.
Good evening, and I want to welcome you all this evening to...
Each year, Tex Abota recognizes top members of the group. It awards Jurist of the Year, Champion of the Seventh Amendment, and Trial Lawyer of the Year.
We are indeed fortunate to have Winford Dunn as our Lawyer of the Year.
It is certainly the ultimate of recognition for me, and I'm just highly honored and humbled by it, frankly, because I never expected it, and I don't know that you ever could expect an award like this.
Work for the preservation of our jury system.
And the future? How does Tex Abota continue to grow and fight for its beliefs despite the decline in jury trials? The cost of jury trials is diminishing the importance of letting the jury hear the facts, and it's resulting in more and more trials never reaching the courthouse.
We need to fight them because the concept of the common man being able to speak is truly important, not only to the history of the United States, but to the future of the United States.
In 1991, Tex Abota established a strict set of guidelines for its members, and it will not stray from those standards. The common goal among its members is to continue to grow, reaching out beyond their lawyer circles to enrich the lives of the community, showing them the importance of jury trials in civil cases.
I feel that there are very qualified women out there, and I would want more of them to join us. I would want more diverse, whether it be racially or women.
We're able to speak as one voice, and it would be beneficial to the public to preserve that system. And of course, our purpose is to preserve trial by jury under the Seventh Amendment.
I hope that we will continue to gain prestige in the legal community so that people coming right out of law school will start keeping notes and keeping records so that the minute they qualify and have the experience, they will want to get in this organization.
When I first started practicing law, it wasn't unusual to be able to go to trial every month or even more frequently. Now, people can go for years and not go to trial. I hope that we can preserve the right to a jury trial guaranteed by the Seventh Amendment. And what I really hope is that we can be a resource to educate young lawyers in exactly how to best try a jury trial so that we can teach them what it's like to represent your client in court.
When you maintain the membership through selection and also through accomplishment and by invitation, then it has to be good. It has to continue to be good. We didn't get to be 16 chapters and 1,000 strong overnight, but it came through word of mouth and also by application. And so I'm proud of both.
It's a growth that happened in the boundaries of 20 years. Imagine what Tex Abota can accomplish in another 20 years and beyond.